Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me again today. No clapper, but this is Daily Adventure 646. Thanks for joining me. I am in the house of my good friends Scott and Melissa McKay. Maybe I shouldn't give last names. Anyway, and continuing, as you can see, with this Marina painting. So the goal, see, for years and years and years, my shtick was I would show up at an event or a party and I would start the painting and finish it all in one event. And that was appropriate for that season. But over the years, I've gotten to the point where, nah, I don't relish the thought. I don't love the idea of doing as good a painting as can be done, say, in 4 hours. Now, I'm sure I'll still have some of those events. There will still be the occasion where that's what needs to be done. But my new, as advertised, objective is to do a fully realized, completed, first class, world class, whatever it may be, painting. So I give my clients the option of either they get to watch me start the painting, which is dramatic but not necessarily impressive, or they get to watch me finish the painting process, which is what I'm doing here, which of course is more impressive but not as dramatic because it's, much of the painting is already done, obviously. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here today. So the goal was, at home in my studio, the goal was to get the painting close enough to finish so that I can finish it at this party this evening. And the advertised schedule of the party is 4 hours long. So I think that's quite reasonable. I think I got the painting to the place where that shouldn't be a problem. And then if people want to say, well, how did you start the painting? Of course, then I can point them to my YouTube channel, and they can go home and watch everything they missed if they are so inclined. One of the things I want to do, I thought I was all done with glazing yesterday, but then when I looked at the painting some more, I thought, a couple things I want to do. Having made the painting very unblue, very warm, I decided that I wanted to add more blue or cool the painting down a little bit and steer it toward the cool end of the spectrum. So that's what I'm doing. So right when I started the broadcast today, or right before, I don't remember, I took some of these oil painting sticks and did some abstract marks, broad strokes. Yeah. Everything always looks better with a glaze of color on top of it. That's what I keep saying, and that's what I keep experiencing. Also, I decided that this little part of the boardwalk down here should actually fade to dark instead of fade to light. And just one more thing, I want to add some warmth to these wooden beams, the railing here. You know, 4x4, 4x6, 6x6 inch timbers, rough hewn timbers that make up the, that's better, that make up the boardwalk at this marina. I'm very familiar with this marina. It's in Beaufort, North Carolina, a place where I've painted many times over the years. All right, so I think I'm done glazing. That's all. I guess I'll clean these brushes. Sometimes I save that until the end, but nobody's here yet, so except you guys. Let me get my monitor going up so I can see your chats. Hello, Jake Watson. I'm glad to hear that, Jake, that you like my, that is very encouraging, that you like my new, more abstract style. I appreciate that. I do too. I'm excited about this turn in my journey. All right. I know exactly what I'm doing next. It's always a nice feeling when you know what to do next. Because I'm going to do right now standard, which is the fuzz layer. Actually, before I do that, let me lift off a little bit. Good. All right. I probably don't have to describe the fuzz layer too much, but then again, there might be somebody new watching. So here we go. The fuzz layer is, number one, translucent. So I'm using opaque colors. If you opaque paint, that's the titanium white. But I'm going to scumble them on. Now I did a whole broadcast on the subject of scumbling earlier this week. And everything I said on that day still applies. Okay, so the fuzz layer is opaque paint applied thinly, which means it's then translucent. And the action that puts the paint on the canvas, this rather dry brush stuff, is called scumbling, right? It's a great technique, but it does not leave a pleasant, in my opinion, does not leave a pleasant feel, a pleasant look on the canvas. So it's not a good final step. It's an intermediate step. Anytime you scumble, in other words, that means you're not done the painting, because it's not a pleasant final texture. Okay, but let me continue to describe the fuzz layer. Translucent, very soft edges, I mean, almost no edges, you could almost say balls of fuzz, just like it sounds, and local color. Or that's what artists call realistic color. Roses are red, violets are blue colors, what artists call local color. Okay? I don't know why. So, for instance, and it's also, by the way, the come in.
Hello, hi.
Is somebody who's supposed to be here.
Hi, how are you? Hi, my name's Mike. Yes, good to see you. It's a pleasure to see you. How are you? Hi, Melissa. How are you? How can I don't want to...
So, of course, this is a party, so there will be guests here, and I will be talking to them as well as to you guys, but they get priority, you understand, because I'm working for them today. So I'll just broadcast as much as I can. I don't think it'd be a problem. And your camera that you guys are looking through right now is tucked up nicely in a little alcove corner near the front door, so it's not too obtrusive. All right, another word for fuzz layer could be. Hello, I'm Dan. Good to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Good to
How
meet
are
you,
you?
Mike. Very good.
For the evening, he's the live entertainment.
Oh, great. Did you make that whole thing there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, my mom didn't even help me at all.
No, jeez. Oh, that's very good.
Thank you.
What a beautiful canvas.
Thank you.
So, I'll kind of acclimate you to everything.
The fuzz layer also, by the way, is a great trick for pushing atmospheric perspective. The painting already had atmospheric perspective, of course, but with this fuzzy treatment, I'm pushing that aspect, which basically means just the color of the sky, right? Blue, pale blue, applied to distant objects, right? That's what atmospheric perspective is. Literally, the sky in front of distant things. I didn't need to tell you that. You already knew that, I'm sure. You probably had never heard it described quite that way. The color of the sky on top of stuff. That's what atmospheric perspective is. It's very realistic. Realistic way to think about painting and to think about atmospheric perspective. The color of the sky, because there's air in front of, there's sky, in other words, in front of distant objects. Now, the objects in this painting are not terribly distant, right? Maybe 50 yards away or something like that. So, but still, the effect of cool blue in front of those boats pushes them back where they're supposed to be.
Probably more like, well, 36 to 40.
So one of the differences between the way I'm painting right now versus the way I painted as recently as a week ago, because I think I've just turned a significant corner, is I'm not covering up these abstract marks that were done before the painting started. I did an abstract painting. That's what these red and orange marks are up here in the sky. And I used to cover them up a lot more. So now I'm covering them up a little bit, but trying to let them show through. You know what? If I'm going to do much of this sky, I am going to have to lower this easel. I mean, sure, I can reach up there. I've discovered, though, when you have to work this hard to reach some part of your painting, you tend to not do a very good job up there because it's just too tiring, and subconsciously you wimp out. You stop doing as much as you ought to do because you're just too tired. Say, oh, that's good enough. Do you know what I mean? So before I do a whole lot more on that sky, I will adjust. This easel, of course, doesn't adjust as easily as some of my fancy easels back home. Hey, I forgot to mention, how do you like my outfit? This is my custom-made 4th of July patriotic. Everybody knows, red, white, and black. I took one of my last night, took one of my wedding painting vests that was in the worst shape, that had some of the most paint spatters on it. And I painted this with masking tape and spray paint. Just for fun. Just for fun. So I can look like, a little special 4th of July party outfit. I am, after all, part of the entertainment. I do know what I'm doing here. I am here to entertain people, by doing a good painting. So. I think, you know what? I'm gonna lower the. This is a little bit ticklish, so let me put my Turpenoid on the floor and my big heavy paint box over here. And lower it down a little bit. There, it's probably good enough. I have this easel started out as a store-bought easel, regular easel, but it is heavily modified. Probably 8 or 10 different things. This is my invention and so on. And one of the most important, small things, but important, is I have a screw back here that locks the easel in place. And that's very important because I don't trust the ratchet system. The easel was made with ratchets to hold it at positions. But like I said, I don't trust it. I decided I thought I was done with the sky, fuzzing the sky, and then changed my mind. Said, nope, that needs to be lighter, brighter, whiter. So I'm doing more. One of the things I often say when I'm doing the fuzz layer is that most paintings have too many hard edges. Just to put it really, really super simply and bluntly, including my own paintings, especially my own paintings of the past, before I realized the reality of this statement. Most paintings have too many hard edges, not enough soft edges. And this fuzz layer, as I call it, is an intentional trick strategy, so to speak, to help myself make sure I have adequate soft and not too many hard. If you were with me yesterday, you will recall that the composition of this painting is the light. There's a cone or a shaft of light coming down like that. That is the primary compositional element, and that's what I'm continuing here to emphasize, accent, strengthen that impression. I think you can see there's a pink underpainting. And by the way, so here's the original photograph. Let me show it to you up close. That's the original photograph. Actually, that's modified slightly already in Photoshop, and I added clouds in the sky and modified it more. But the whole play of light that I'm doing here is completely manufactured. It is not even hinted at in the least in the photograph. Does that make sense? I am not restricted to copying photographs. Neither are you. And in this case, the decision to do that shaft of light, that's a compositional decision. That composition is huge. Design, if you will, the overall design composition of the painting is huge, huge, important element. And I didn't know that that's what I was going to. Now, if I had done a preliminary sketch, I would have figured out things like that, but I didn't. I didn't know that this is what was going to happen. It just, it began to appear on the canvas yesterday morning. And that, as things like that usually do, if you're looking for them, then you'll catch things like that. So when it began to appear, I said, "Eureka! That's it. That is it. That's exactly what I want." So I'm quite happy with that compositional element, if you will. Hello.
How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Now, I think my water here in the mid ground area can be a prettier blue. So let's go ahead and add that right now. Add some pretty blue. Yeah, that's good. And likewise, then coming down a little bit, add a little bit of green to it, because the closer the water gets to you, the more you're looking down into the water, which is a greenish color, the less sky is being reflected. So more green, the closer the water gets to you. All right, so do I put the canvas back up? Yes, I do. Here we go. Same operation. You get to watch the whole thing, friends. Loosen the screw. Hold the easel just in case the little ratchet does in fact fail. Yep, that's about right there.
Pretty good.
There we go. Might be a little bit higher than it was.
Oh, fabulous.
I'll lower it again
You got in.
later.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm spoiled rotten by my big studio easels at home. Mixing up dark bluish green.
Ask Melissa, Michael. I'm gonna park a car.
All right, my fuzz layer is almost finished. I just have a couple things I want to do. These big red and yellow flowers are a huge element in the scene. So I want to make those fuzz as well. I want to fuzz them. Make sense? I have a roll of paper towels on the back of my easel, and I have a litter bag on the back of my easel. All the comforts of home, eh? Okay, so let's be clear about something. I want it to look like the sun is really hitting this pale brown wooden beam, right? Anything that you want to look like the sun is really hitting it, not just hitting it, but really hitting it. My language fails, you know. Then you make the edge soft, not hard, not sharp. Same thing down here.
Do you have a little towel? We could put a towel under. Yeah, we'll get some here because this one is not insulated.
Less so down here, but just a little bit of glow, just a little bit, and a little bit of glow down here. There. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. I'm zoomed almost all the way in here, folks, because you are standing a good 8 feet away from me, unlike the normal.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. They put you in charge of something, huh? Yeah.
I know.
Hi. Boy, things are
All right, now let's do the glow around these red flowers. So again, I want them to look like they're just, the sun is just exploding off these brilliant red flowers, right? That means the edges are not hard, but are very soft. Another principle that this accomplishes.
I'm just gonna watch Dan and stay out of the way.
There you go.
That's what I do.
There you go.
I'm really good at it.
So if I want it to look like this, the sun, of course, it's a very sunny, sun-filled, sun-dappled scene, right?
Sun-dappled scene is
Yep.
exactly what
Yep.
it is, my friend.
So
Sun-dappled scene.
therefore, anything that I want to accentuate, I make the edges of it very soft. Another principle that accomplishes is the human eye likes to see little bits of the object that is spilled out into the background and little bits of the background that is spilled out into the object. The analogy, the example I usually give is a red barn, but in this case, red flowers. So the red from the flowers spills out into the blue of the sky, and the blue of the sky spills over into the red of the flower. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it's an X.
The Impressionists taught us that. Well, actually, people before the Impressionists, but we harken back mostly. That things, colors interpose themselves. They interpose, trade places. The pink, if you will, jumps over into the blue jumps over into the pink. I like that. I'm done with red. And now I'm going to do the same thing, this time with just a little bit of the green leaves. Same idea. So I hope you're understanding, all the colors that I do the fuzz with are all light. You don't fuzz dark colors. You only fuzz the glow. It's a glow layer. It's the other thing I call it. Darkness does not glow. You understand? Dark colors, it's the light stuff that glows. Dark stuff is important, of course, but it doesn't glow per se. So it's only the light areas that get fuzz. Okay, one final thing in the fuzz layer, and I'll be ready to take a little tiny break. And that is come back to where I started actually, which is the tops of the boats, where the sun's hitting. So titanium white and just a little bit of Naples yellow. So it's a warm white, just barely off-white. Because of anything in this scene, it is these white boats that are just exploding with sunlight. Painting with two hands is a great advantage for doing the fuzz because it's faster, but if I were painting with one hand, I'd be tempted to be more careful, and I don't want to be careful. But when I paint with two hands, my mind can't quite keep up with what my hands are doing, so it helps me to paint looser.
All right, you just throw that in that bag. All right, this is chicken.
Everything affects everything else, of course. Now that I've got those boats glowing that much, I feel like this board here needs to glow more as well. So I'm going to add some more glow to this right here. There we go. That's better. All right, so that's the fuzz layer. I should have just called this whole broadcast maybe the fuzz layer, but I didn't. So I'm going to take a little break. Let me see if there's some chats here that's going on. Delson Peroso Jr. Parabens, you're welcome. Somebody will have to translate that for me. Looking smart. Thank you, Michael.
Can we put it in the oven and just keep it warm?
Could do with some atmospheric painting on my waistcoat.
Streaming?
Yeah, I am. Hi, Kayla. I'm Dan.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Yeah, I am streaming, but I'm going to take a break.
This setup is fantastic. How did you get that? How did you come on this?
I had to build most of it.
Oh, you built it?
It started out as a store-bought easel, but it's been heavily modified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you. I'm trying to decide what color to make this boat. In the photograph, it's gray,
It's not very interesting.
and I don't want gray. Fortunately, I have the luxury of experimenting a little bit. I already wiped them both off once,
Oh, is that right?
which is unusual, but How about blue?
I find making choices difficult, so it's good to know that you can remake them.
That's right. Hello.
Very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm walking around you. Yeah, would you like a painting on the back of your shirt?
Sure. How long has this been being worked on?
I think about 4 hours, maybe 5.
4 hours?
I tried to time it.
Because he uses both hands.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's kind of slow, actually. But I tried to time it so I could finish it
That's
tonight.
slow?
Yeah. Compared to what I've done.
Paint the whole thing? and-
Yeah. I'll finish it tonight. That's the plan. Hello.
This is Craig.
I'm Dan.
Hannah Chen, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
This is Hannah Chen and Chloe. And Lee, her husband Leo's coming in tonight.
Excellent.
And this is
Good to meet you. Hello.
Dan. This is
I'm Dan. Hi, Chloe. Good to meet you. Make sure they get name tags. I have one on the back. Okay. I'm wasting too much time thinking about that, so let's just move on ahead.
So what is that for?
Oh, I'm broadcasting on YouTube.
Okay.
Off and on. I'll be doing that off and on. And anybody that's online knows that I'm at a party, and you guys get priority.
I don't want to be on there.
Witness protection program.
So we have the pro here.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Dan.
Dan.
Oh, I almost wore that exact shirt.
Oh, he said, oh.
That was close.
It's all good.
Did you go to church with Scott?
I still don't know what color to make that boat, so I'm going to move on and do other things while I think about it. I could paint around it. That's
I saw something across the internet that said people who are getting citizenship have to answer these questions. Can you? And I didn't look at them, but I bet a lot of
So at the moment, that boat, as you can see, is going to remain blue. The hull is going to remain blue. I may come back and change my mind.
they ask about certain amendments and stuff.
I assume you have to ask, I have a question about the
That's what they were asking today.
Okay, everybody, we've got 6:30-ish. It is the 4th of July. I have a few words to share with you since you're in my home, and it's part of the pain point. And then we'll bless the food and then imbibe a little bit. Okay, sound good? All right. So real quick, I did a quick research because I think it's important. It's the 4th of July. And I said, give me some good quotes on the 4th of July. So I said, okay, let's find one. America was not built on fear. America was built on courage, on imagination, and an unbeatable determination to do the job at hand. Mary S. Truman. Yeah. Let's see. I like this one too. Liberty is always dangerous, but it is the safest thing we have. Which I thought was pretty appropriate. A guy named Harry Fosdick. And then I thought this was poignant. The United States is the only country with a known birthday. Does anybody know what our birthday is? 200 and Oh, you saw the cake. You cheated, Scott. Saw the cake. 243 years. 243 years. Since July the 4th, 1776, when we declared our independence from British rule through the Declaration. And then I thought this was really poignant. This is by Daniel Webster. He said, "May the sun in its course visit no land more free, more happy, more lovely than this, our country." I thought that was really poignant. Really poignant. Anyway, it's the 4th of July. I'm so glad you guys can make it. We've got a nice spread here. I think people brought things to blow by. If you guys will just indulge me for a minute, I'd like to ask God, who blesses this country tremendously, just to bless our food as we work. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for my friends and neighbors, and just we can congregate on the 4th of July, Lord, and just enjoy it. We thank you for it. We know that we live in a free country because other men and women have died for us so that we can enjoy it. We pray your blessings on our food, our fellowship, and our day today as we celebrate America. And we ask, Lord, that you would continue to bless America, and especially those, Lord, my neighbors and friends in this house. And I pray this all in simple faith in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right. Goodbye, people.
Just start grabbing.
This is really gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really nice. So how much have you done since you've been here? Like, did you do the background and then you...
I started
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
How much I've done today since I've been here?
Uh-huh.
I glazed. Well, I first did some more abstract marks with those oil painting sticks,
Uh-huh.
and then I glazed the whole thing. It means transparent over the whole thing, mostly blue. And then I did what I call my fuzz layer, which is all the really soft, like just took brushes and scumbled the pink, the white, a bunch in the sky,
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
and a little bit of brown here.
I
Thank
love all
you.
the layers. Like,
Yeah,
you can
that's
see
what
all
it
the
is,
different
yeah.
colors. It's really nice.
You must be an artist or something, because you know the word layers. You know you're looking at layers.
I'm into ceramics, okay?
Oh, are you really?
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never could get the hang of painting, you know, so my stuff always looked so abstract that it really wasn't, you know, I don't know what.
Whether it was supposed to be abstract or not.
So, do you have a studio or?
You mean a gallery? You're standing in my studio right now. This is it. I've been in 8 galleries. Today I'm in 0
Yeah.
because I'm transitioning out of local galleries.
Oh, okay.
I'm a North Carolina artist. I've been in 8 galleries, and there aren't any galleries at my level anymore.
Okay. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
That
So you're
sounded
expanding.
really
That's good, though.
almost
No, that's-
rude,
that's
but
That's what should happen.
yeah, I'm done with small town galleries.
Yeah. That's
Now
why
we'll
you
see
were
how
always
this
an
goes.
artist, yeah.
I may starve.
No, I doubt it.
Thank you.
But you have a website, right?
I do. Oh yeah. I'm very highly marketed.
Okay. There you go. You should
Google
be.
me, please.
All right, I will. In fact, I think I did look you up. Like, give me another
Did
one,
you?
because
Yeah,
I
there you
looked
go.
you up because I was like, this is wild. Like, I've never heard of this. This is really cool.
Oh, good.
Like, I
What
wanna
fun.
see it.
Good. So did they tell you that how did you know to look me up? They said they were going to have a painter here?
Yeah, they said, and they said
On the
your
invitation?
name.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I looked it up, like, okay. Like,
Oh, good. What fun.
painting
Good
is
for
this,
you.
know?
Good for you. Yeah.
And this is kind of wild because to me it almost looks done, you know, and then you still
Yep.
see like detail.
Yeah.
This is fun.
I'll be painting all evening.
For just one more minute, I'm sorry I'm yelling in my own house. My wife hates this. But no, I think she wants to get a picture of everybody up front somehow. Right, Melissa? What do you want? What do you want? Oh, kind of where Dan's painting. Oh, okay, that's good. So,
That-
congregate.
I'll turn around.
And if you have to face the radio, just find somebody to hide behind.
Can I stand with
Yes,
you, Dan?
please do.
I would love it.
Well, I'll pretend
You
like
could
I-
pretend
yeah,
here.
I'll be
Have hold a
advising.
brush.
I'll be, yes, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Apprenticing, that's right. Is this how you hold it?
No, don't. That's a dead giveaway. They
Okay.
can, there you.
Like my kids hold their fork?
Yeah,
Something like
that's
that.
right.
Come on over here.
Yeah.
When you're in it, you have to hold it up here for them to see it.
That's right. We're good. There you go, Craig. You're painting too.
Nice.
It's perfectly fine.
It's going to have to be a panorama.
Yeah, yeah.
It really will.
We can't see you.
Okay, here.
You're going to have to come up.
Annie. Yep, yep. Oh, you know what?
Good idea.
There's a few.
We're getting our picture taken. In case you can't tell.
Don't photograph my missing tooth, though.
I told you it was a party. This is the photo of the party.
Thanks, Michael. All right, everyone, here we are. 1, 2, 3. Let's take one more. Happy birthday, man. 2, 3. And what do we do? 1, 2, 3. One more all. Happy birthday, America!
There we go, that's great.
Once more.
All right, back to painting now. I am going to leave all that stuff I was doing for a little while, and let's come down here in the water and start painting some waves and ripples in the water. All right, so I'm mixing up. You do darks first, of course. Darks first, lights last. Mixing up greenish blue, transparent greenish blue. And I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing. I'm twirling my brushes as I just make fairly random horizontal strokes. Twirling, 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 twirling. And more of the same. Darker down here now.
Another way you can use 2 hands.
Yes. Yep.
So did you study painting? Did you study painting like from school, or you study painting?
I did, but they didn't teach me anything.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but you've always been artistic and you wanted to make it.
Yep, yep. My dad was a good painter, a hobby painter, you know.
Have you always been an artist?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, my whole life.
Okay, I talked with her about it was one of these neighborhood events in the last year, because we were just starting.
Thank you. I could do a whole class, couldn't I, on how to paint water. That would be fun. I don't think I've ever done that. Of course, there are many ways to paint water, as you can imagine. But anytime you're painting a an organic, natural, random, chaotic surface. Chaotic's not the word I want. Random. Like trees, bushes, foliage, clouds, water. Especially if it's somewhat busy like this, you better come up with a technique that reflects the reality of the busyness of it, and not fall into trying to paint one wave at a time. And of course, unless you're doing hyperrealism, which is another subject altogether. I was going to say it's not real painting, but I don't want to get into that right now. I've already offended half of you anyway, sorry. All right, that's not bad for starters. Next, I have here Bob Ross Special fan brush, just to smooth out some of the slightly rougher bits that the water's pretty smooth, unless you're doing a big choppy, wavy, dramatic, which I'm not doing, clearly. All right, so the darks of the waves are finished. Now, before I go any further, I'll come in here and wipe off some of the darkness that I just put down, where my wave marks spilled over onto other things. All right. So that was really fast and easy, right? By the way, just in case you're watching me for a while today, I will be broadcasting on and off throughout the evening. I'm not going to try to broadcast the entire time. So when I disappear on you, I'll tell you before I disappear, of course. But if you happen to not be watching when I sign off, I'll be just be disappearing. So that's where I'm disappearing too. All right. So now I'm mixing up an opaque, pale blue.
God bless you.
But I've left room for getting paler. Now I look at the marks. Let me see. Now that's too light. I need to make it quite a bit darker than that. A pale greenish blue, but a couple ticks darker. And what that one stroke is okay, but that's not what I want to start.
My brother,
And now I'm going quite slowly,
he posted
and I'm responding to
just up there for 100 seconds.
the marks that I just put down a few minutes ago, the dark marks. In a sense, you could say I'm coloring in the lines. Does that make sense? So I drew the lines, if you will, that real quickly, that you saw me do just a few minutes ago.
Genetics plays a part.
This is just one way to paint water. The universal application of what I'm doing right now can be summed up in the phrase, darks first, lights last. So how do you paint waves? Mid-tone, whatever color the water is going to be, bluish, greenish, over the whole area. Then dark details, then light details. The light stage of the process, of course, will be a two-step process, as you well know, because anytime you put down an opaque color on your canvas, you follow up by doing a slightly lighter version of that color on top of what you just put down. So I'll just do a little bit. And again, I'm sorry I'm so far away. I'm zoomed in just about as far as I can get today. So now I'm mixing up some titanium with the color that I just used, so it's lighter. and I put strokes, marks on top of the light stuff I just did. Here and there, here and there. And it almost doesn't matter where you put those lighter marks. Now, I'm going to try something. Yeah, it was okay. It didn't have a big effect. But I was scratching with the handle of my brush. Again, making horizontal marks. The further the water gets away from you, the more horizontal all these striations will become, all these markers will become. The closer the water, like down here, the marks will be much less horizontal. They can be more vertical, if you will. And here in the middle, I'm pretty horizontal already. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. But the further the water gets away from you, the more strictly, strongly horizontal all these marks should be. Now, I need to step back and look at that for just a moment. I'm going to just continue, add more white to my mixture here, and just continue up in this water.
Oh, I met them. Yeah, they told me they were cougars. Because I told them I was a husky. Well, come on, we're Washingtonians. Let's find the common ground now. Let's find the common ground. We are well from Washington. I told him on the demo I was talking earlier. I said, this is weird. I was actually.
And then, finally,
They don't get that many.
here and there, so this part of the water is pretty close to finished, right? Just the way it is right now, with the exception of real sparkle. So this is almost pure titanium white. So literal sparkle, sun sparkling on the water. I'll pick you guys up every once in a while and bring you over here and let you see some of this stuff up close. This might be a good time to do that, just to let you see some details. So hang on. I'm going to give you a bit of a circus ride here.
When I retired,
So there's what I just did. So this area up here has the dark striations, but not the light yet. This is dark and light and sparkle. Thank you for that, sweet chat. I appreciate that. All right, put you guys back out of the way.
well, it started in Zimbabwe, but then it Rwanda. So when I went on a trip, I was in Rwanda, and now it's kind of going worldwide. It's called. So it started out as it's a fascinating story. It started out as Zimbabwe orphans in Denver. This one dude, she was either a sophomore or junior in high school here. That's great. Huh? Zoe. The Zimbabwe orphans in there. So she thought in her head that she's going to go to Africa. Well, her parents were just.
So here, again, up here, I'm coloring in the lines, so to speak. I'm responding to the very fast, dark marks that I made a few minutes ago with two brushes going back and forth and twirling them, right? So I didn't spend a lot of time doing that because I didn't need to. I was painting by process, making movements with my arms that would produce wave-like marks. But now that that's done,
This is underpainting.
hello, I'm Dan.
I'm Susan.
Hi, Susan. Good to meet you. Hi, Pam. Good to meet you. Oh, I lost my name tag on my back.
Yeah, you got one talking about you for weeks.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh, thank
longer
you.
than that, but
Thank you.
This woman has a spot right next to Mother Teresa. I mean, I've met her. She's amazing. She speaks 5 languages. She lives to survive. We do it every of the genocide.
There's a mark up here in the water that I don't like. A white streak that was just an accident. Got rid of that.
Because of all these the Hutus.
Now these little marks, of course, I have to be aware of the overall color. As you can see, the water changes color a lot. Like here's probably the lightest area of the water, at least right now, is right between these two boats. And so then it gets darker, see, fades down, fades, dark, 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 and then fades dark this way as well. And so all these little marks that I'm making have to be submitted to the overall color of the water in that zone, in that area. One of the hardest things in the world for human beings to do is random. Like waves on the ocean, right? Hi, Kathy.
Hello. I am just so in awe.
Oh, thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
so impressed.
Well, thank
Do you
you.
take lessons, or is this just you were born with this gift?
More the latter. I would say it's been a continual life study. You know, I take more lessons now on YouTube than I ever did. I majored in art in college, and that was a virtual waste. They didn't teach me how to paint.
This is a God-given gift.
Thank you. Yeah, my dad was a good painter, so yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
That just blows my mind. And have you ever heard of Ivy Hayes? Ivy Hayes.
Local or not local?
I'm from Wilmington, and so he was an artist in Wilmington, and he did a lot of bright, vivid colors, and he was self-taught, just like you. You just are so gifted.
Oh, thank you.
It's probably a really good outlet for you.
It's what?
It's a great outlet for you.
It is, indeed. I'm very blessed. I get to do what I love for a living.
And
So.
you get paid for it. That's
Yeah.
right. So you
Yeah.
never worked a day in your life.
That's right. I wish. There's so many days I don't get to paint because I got to work. Got to do all the other jobs. Thank you, Kathy. So I just put a slightly lighter, that practice that I follow pretty faithfully. When you put down one color, very shortly thereafter, just so you don't forget, you come back and do a light. Now, let me look at that. Yeah, that's getting a little bit too busy up there. So I'm going to use my friend, the fan brush, and just sort of soften that a little bit, just blend it in. Yeah. Okay, now what I'm doing right now is not like is like scumbling. So it's not good painting. Do you understand? What I just did is a cheat technique for softening, but you would not want to leave the painting with that texture on it. It is not a pleasant texture. That is not real painting, so to speak. What I just did, that brushy thing. I used it to accomplish, the softening that I needed. But now I'm doing, again, real painting, if you will, on top of the scumbling that I just did. Okay, I've talked about that a lot in the last several days. All right, now I'm going to get considerably lighter. You see, because this water right here is reflecting the light part of the sky up here. Pardon?
Would you like a glass of wine?
No, thank you. I'm good.
Hi, Wayne. I'm Kathy. Nice to meet you.
But I will take a break and go get some food here in a minute.
Just not college.
I know who you're talking about. No, we should have my Is that the same?
Let me try this again. Sometimes you get a really nice watery effect. The effect of water by rubbing your brush handle or some other hard object horizontally through the wet paint. Yeah, that looks pretty watery. Okay, I'm going to leave the water just for now. It's good practice, as you probably know, not to paint any one thing completely, but to move around. So I've done enough water for now. Let me take a break and go do something else. And then when I come back to the water, I'll see it with fresh eyes. But what I do need to do right now is the tops of these boats. They were at one point during the painting process, they seemed to be very white and bright. But now the water around them has become much lighter, and they don't look light and bright. They look rather dark and dingy, which is fine. That's fine for the underpainting. I like the texture of them, but I don't like the value of them right now. So easy fix. It'll take just a minute with my razor to clean off my palette. It's covered with blue paint, watercolored paint. Not watercolor paints. You know what I mean. Anyway, so you might say, well, didn't you just waste a whole bunch of paint? Yeah, but the time that it would take to try to recover that little bit of paint, it would not be a good investment of time. So it's easier for me just to clean it up instead of trying to, rescue every little milligram of paint. All right, let's go look at these boats then. Yeah, warm white. I was trying to decide, are they cool white or warm? They're definitely warm. So a little bit of Naples yellow is really nice for just warming up a titanium white, because it's such a light color already. Thank you, Raisukami. Or Raisukami? Raisukami? Raisukami. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. As you can see, at least right now, I'm allowing the brush to skitter, so to speak, over the surface of the canvas. You probably can't see this, but it's leaving lots of little holes. The texture of the canvas. I'm not plastering the paint on thickly. So it's creating a little bit of a texture, a painterly texture. Now, something very important to do. You know what? I need more white. I can't believe it. I put out so much titanium white, and I think, oh, that'll last me the rest of the day. And an hour later, I'm putting out more. Some of you may not know, because I haven't mentioned it for a while. My titanium white is an alkyd. That means it's a fast-drying titanium, because titanium, normally, titanium takes a long time to dry, and I don't have time to wait for the titanium to dry, so I use a fast-dry alkyd. I have done so for 5 or 6 years, or 7 now. All right, I've just loaded up my brushes with a lot thicker batch of this titanium white. And now I am plastering. I'm still trying to let the texture show through, because I have a very specific thing I want to do. Here it is. So I've got a dry bristle brush. This is going to be kind of dangerous. There we go. In other words, I just smeared that thick, light stuff that I had just put down. I smeared it into the water. Now I'm going to pick up a palette knife. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the lightest color that you can put on a canvas. What is it? It's titanium white that's been warmed ever so slightly, in this case with Naples yellow, and then applied with a palette knife. The palette knife, you see, then it lays down a glassy, smooth surface. Again, that's the lightest, brightest color you can put on a canvas, is warm white, titanium white, slightly warmed, applied with a palette knife. So that's how I feel about about the bright part of that boat.
You have some dinner?
I will indeed. Ooh, looks good. That looks good. I will indeed.
I'll come help you after dinner.
Yeah, there you go. Somebody else will take a turn.
I'm sure I can help.
All right, guys, I am going to go eat. So I'm going to take a break right here. Let me look at your chats before I go. Yeah, you're right, Karen. Many of them don't realize they're being recorded. Shh, don't tell them. Marlene, your favorite. Oh, my goodness. That's very nice. That's encouraging. Thank you. Love the purple in the water. Thank you, Karen. Rice economy, amazing work. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right. I'm going to pause you for a while. Be back in a little while. All right, gang, I had time to go and get some delicious supper, and I've been back at work here for a few minutes. I still haven't come back to the water yet. I did this much water, and then painted this boat, then this boat. Did some real important smearing of paint there with and now, let's do some of these flowers. The flowers in this painting, of course, are hugely important. I have no idea what kind of flowers they are. There's actually, in the photograph, there are 2 different kinds of flowers. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to try to indicate that or not. But these flowers up here are definitely, well, they're a lily shape, the classic lily shape of a lily. So I'm assuming that they're some kind of lily, but honestly, they are a very different. I'm not a botanist, so I'll just keep my mouth shut. The flowers look like lilies, but all the rest of the plant, I'm sure it's some kind of lily. Anyway, and very hot pink fuchsia, lovely, lovely color. I'm going to go ahead and practice what I preach right here. And mix up a lighter version of what I just put down. By the way, this would be pertinent for any of you, if any of any regulars are watching right now. You know, I talk about you can't add white to red and get light red. You get a sick bubblegum pink. Okay, that dynamic, that principle does not apply to fuchsia, magenta, cool red, this pinkish purplish red. You can add white to that and it works. It turns into a lovely light version of that. So when I talk about that dynamic with red, you can't just add white to red. You have to warm it up. That does not apply to cool red, like permanent rose, magenta, quinacridone red, and so forth. Those cool reds. Some of you are having a hard time probably with the concept. I thought red was warm. Well, no. There are degrees of warm and cool red, warm and cool yellow, warm and cool blue, and so on.
Well, she says this.
All right, I'm gonna leave those for a minute. Come over here and do some of these. So different. I've got a different color now.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
How near the end are you? Not
2 hours and 15 minutes, at least.
And how long have you been working on it?
Probably 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to time it so that I could finish tonight.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Where's the scene?
Beaufort.
I thought it was.
Yeah, and actually Scott and Melissa took the picture, but I've painted in Beaufort many times, so I know exactly where it is. Thank you. So as you can see, the red flowers in this scene are huge, hugely important. In fact, in the photograph, this plant was not here. It was just that one, but I added that one over there. That's one of the modifications that I made in Photoshop. And added this planter over here and so on.
close to done, aren't you? Or
No. Well, it's a relative term, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, done is a relative term, or close. Close is
My mother was
relative.
an artist.
Uh-huh.
My mother was an artist.
Really?
And she never ever felt like she was ever done.
Oh.
And she never wanted to display her art because she never felt like it was good enough. But I'm telling you, I still have her paintings.
Oh.
I carried them my entire life and put them up in my home.
Oh. But her story is very typical.
She did a lot of watercolor, but she also liked acrylics.
Uh-huh. I'm mixing up a bright yellow.
Now, you're one of her art teachers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She talks about you a lot.
Good.
And you can never put too much into it, right?
One of the hardest things to know is to know when to quit. That's right. And one of the jokes is how many people do, because it is now in my case, I mean I still have the same problem, but I paint in stages or phases. The question, because it's so easy to overdo it. It's like, oh darn, I should have stopped 5 minutes ago. At least for now. At least for now. I might take one more break.
There's always more.
Yeah, that's right. Is there dessert? I didn't see any dessert.
He's not.
Oh, no. Well, look at that. He's got a lot of the.
I think about 6 hours.
Yeah, everybody's asking how long you've been working on this.
Yeah.
Melissa,
I think 5 or 6 hours.
where is this? In Puerto Rico? Beaufort.
Yeah, that boat is called the Mini Strip. It's 105 foot.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's called the Mini Strip. It's a 105 foot yacht.
Wow.
It has a removable stay, so it can actually beach the boat when the tide goes out, and then you can float it back. It's unbelievable.
That is so beautiful. What a
It's on
great
the water.
shot.
Yeah, most of it.
And now you're going to have
Now,
this hanging
Dan,
in
you
your
photoshopped this a little bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see, there used to be a dock there.
That's right. I took it. That's right. I should have printed the original so
You know
people
what
could
Melissa
see.
likes? She likes the just the motoring or the people in it, you know,
Uh-huh.
that kind of thing. Like really.
Have you seen his work? Go to his website.
Please do.
Do you know what I mean? She likes seeing people.
She picked this photo.
Look at all the.
You know why she picked it?
You're gonna get one.
Oh, we could still talk. There are people over here that are avoiding you. When I turned on you, they ran away. They know you're here.
It's really interesting.
Is it?
You can see it coming alive.
Good.
Everything you add to life is life. All have it.
You can see why people like to paint flowers, can't you? They're fun. Wow, they're so colorful. Wow. And of course, I'm not going to try to, paint in such a way so as to, whatever. I'm not going to do botany illustrations, that's for sure. I've got one stroke here. It was really quite a mistake. This one right there. But I like it so much, I'm going to leave it. We'll see later if I end up trimming it down any. Okay, I'll keep going. I'm going to do some green leaves now in the flowers, then maybe be done with the flowers, at least for a while. I certainly have a lot of work to do. And yes, I'm still coughing a little bit. David, I'm in and out, am I? Thank you, David. See, the broadcasting, well, I might have a weak signal, in which case there's nothing I can do about that. Sorry about that. I can apologize. That's all I can do. So let's do some green leaves. I'm anxious to get back to the water, and really to the background. All right, let's do some green stuff. I have fewer opinions about what color green paint to buy. I have fewer opinions on that subject just about than any. It's like I could care less what color green I buy and what color green. And like right now, I just mixed up a green. Oh, I guess I did. I was going to say I didn't use any green paint at all, but that's not true. I did dip it in something there, but I didn't need to. I'm more likely to mix up my green. Out of blue and yellow. The green that I buy is just to give me some variety of colors, so I don't get stuck. All right, green leaves. Let's do. Which ones are getting a little bit of sun on them? And I've mixed up here a mid-tone, maybe slightly on the dark side of mid-tone green, so that I have lots of room. I'm looking forward to negative painting all these bushes and flowers. That is to say, I'm looking forward to defining some of the specific leaves and petals on the flowers by painting the blue sky or the water behind them. That's when most of the definition will take place, will be.
Wow, Dan, that's really cool.
Thank you.
It's neat to see the transformation.
Yeah.
You're stepping away for a little bit.
Good. Thanks.
Do you prefer this, or do you like to visit?
I like both.
Okay.
I like visiting and painting at the same time. You bet. Do you paint? Do you do anything artistic?
No.
Wouldn't surprise me if you did. A lot of artists, a lot of musicians, do art, and a lot of artists do music.
Back in the day when there were regular house telephones,
Uh-huh.
lines and everything else, my mom would doodle some pretty amazing sketches while she was on the phone for 3
Really?
minutes or more. I thought they were cool as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were nothing special, but it was especially with there and doodle, and she was left-handed, and so she'd sit there with the
That's
pen
fun.
and just,
Artists are so good at mixing colors. Yuck, yuck. I am really, but it's kind of funny sometimes. I'm trying to get a dark yellowish green, and doggone it, that does not look very green, does it? Doesn't look green. There we go. That's closer.
I don't even understand that. That's so cool.
Couple stems.
we're getting ready to cut the cake, sing Happy Birthday
All
America, and cakes are pretty good.
Cake.
So they want everybody in this somewhere.
Okay.
Let me see. Hey, Melissa, where do you want everybody?
Hello, Nell. Are you Nell?
I am.
Or did you just beat her up and take her name tag? Look at how neatly you wrote your name. Or did somebody else, did you do that?
I did it.
You're the artist.
Well,
And you wear turquoise. You are pretty artsy.
I like calligraphy.
Do ya? Is it really? I do calligraphy too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Are you part of the Triangle Calligraphers Guild?
Yes.
Are you really?
Yes. Have you been there?
Yes. One time. They meet on sometimes Saturday morning.
Saturday. So what font or what letter? You know, what hand? I guess.
Yes. What?
hand
Probably
do you
my favorite is Unseal,
Oh yeah, I love on-chill.
and of course, Alec. You know, like everybody else, you have to do that. It's not my favorite though. And of course, when I was a kid, I loved the black face, the old English,
the
the
Gothic, black
the
letter.
scary looking stuff. You know,
But
I like that.
Some of it's so beautiful now.
Yeah,
You do
yeah.
it
Well,
with a pointed pen.
43 years, we're going to sing Happy Birthday America, and then we're going to cut the cake. All right.
more. We'll talk more.
I know.
They're singing Happy Birthday to America. That's cute. They're not singing it very well. Don't tell them I said that.
Happy birthday to
And I don't think everybody in there is Republican either, by the way.
Thank you. You're a great guest.
I went and had supper with some of these people. All right, it's time for me to leave the painting of flowers and leaves and move on to something else and come back to it later. So there's two kinds of flowers here. These red and white ones, and then these fuchsia ones. I don't know if you can tell that. I hope you can. So from back here, they look like flowers, right? What?
Oh, we saw your video on YouTube.
Oh, did you?
We looked you up.
Oh, good. Good for you. Good for you. We need a young person to find it for us. There you go. That's good. That's good. That's so funny. Did you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. See, if there was a house full of people your age, they'd all have done that already. That's right. So leave a chat.
No, never leave the chat alone.
That's right. Okay, let me do some water. Mix up some bluish green. Of course, it has. Now, one of the beauties, of course, of the world we live in now is that if you're ever painting anything and you draw a blank, like, okay, what does water look like? You know, you just pick up your phone or your tablet or your computer and type in water or waves. Find myself needing to do that right now. So I have a pretty good idea of what water looks like. Hey, Eddie.
Looks good.
Thank you.
Take the shot. You can tell the last hour.
Yeah, that's all right. So, see these marks? Can you see me? Yeah, these marks are much less horizontal than these are. Here, extremely, real skinny lines, so go this way. I'm not done there yet. Then the lines get sort of fatter and more wobbly the closer we, so down here they're almost not horizontal at all, just slightly horizontal. But of course, don't forget, I'm going to come in even down here in a few minutes and do just a little bit of sparkle. Our friend sparkle. The word sparkle is a good painting term, and usually it's used not to refer to literal sparkle. It's not when you talk about sparkle in a painting, I think that's a good concept or image, but usually you're not really talking about literal sparkle. But here in this case, I am indeed talking about literally the sparkle on the water. I've received some nice comments on this painting. That surprises me. David, if you're listening, that surprises me. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I'm like, my wife always tells me we should do more water paintings, and I'm sure she's probably right. Okay, now I've just mixed up a slightly lighter version of what I just finished. Right? Same old trick, same old, same old. Of course, less light bits the further I go down. All right, now just some pure white or very nearly pure white. For glints of sunlight on the water. Now be careful, 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 careful. It's hard for human beings, including me, to do random. When you're doing something like this, two there, two there, two there. Dang. I'm thinking, I'm standing off to the side here. There you go, there's a wide angle. Ooh, I know. Now, I think I can do this without looking at a photo reference. I want to do, you know, that real distinctive reflection of the water back up on the hull of the boat, reflection off the water onto the hull of the boat.
What's with the white spots? Just curious.
What you looking at? The white dots?
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Sparkle, just sun sparkle on the water.
Sun reflection.
But if you have to
When do you
ask,
declare it done?
that's a very good question.
Keep playing.
No. That's the death of painting is to keep playing with it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing to know is when it's done. Now, in my case, I have several done until I get through all my stages. But the question then breaks down to when is each stage done? Instinctively wants to go too far.
Yeah.
So if you follow your heart, it's time to quit.
Yeah.
So one old joke is, how many people does it take to do? Even at my stage of life, it's I would have got that down by now.
Well, it's sure beautiful.
Thank you.
Very.
And that doesn't look much like I want it to. All right, I'm going to do what I want to do, which is negative the flowers. They're largely done, of course. Instead, I'm going to paint. I'm trying to match this color. Ooh, pretty good. One of the principles or practices really possible. Always be looking for an excuse. The flower. The effect is on reasons for that. I'm not going to state those right now because I'm. Why paint the native? No, I'll give. It's almost always. So that flower has a lot more definition than it. Whoops. Part of my boat disappeared. Is all okay. Okay, let's fix that right now. I almost lost the cabin, the cockpit, the that would not do at all. Ooh. That's going to take, in fact, I can fix it a little bit right now. Pencil texture there. Amazing what that does, in my opinion, what that does. Now, once again, I'm negative painting this bush, really, these flowers. I'll get my own. That looks great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will. Right? Except it's not a tree, it's a bush. And that's why it should not be called. But I'm painting, in this case, I'm going to come back and do more leaves. And this orange line right here, that has nothing to do, and I wasn't sure, how much of those I was going to keep. Wow, that's good cake. They're deadly. Deadly cake. All right, now the boat, of course, has a roof. I'm not a sailor, so I don't know what it's called. If I say roof, you know what I mean. Deadly. I want another one. All right, are we broadcasting? I think we are. Thank you for your patience. Maybe it's called a roof, I don't know. A head. Somebody with a 6. We made a toilet. What should we call it? And some of them said, hey, wait a minute, you should do that chalk drawing thing, So they built me an easel. So 45 years ago.
Draw people.
It does.
And,
yeah.
What a,
I paint. And, yeah. My son-in-law got hired there.
I tell you what, that's usually what happens when we moved out of it was.
Good. That's right. No, but I'm here to talk to you, mostly. Just talking about Hun. So I need to mess up those hard edges. Good, thank you. In a good direction, we hope. And you lost your name tag.
I know
I should remember. Are you an artist?
I am not.
Well, good.
But
Well, if
because
I didn't know we had.
Are you a believer?
You need a hug.
Thank you.
Goldsboro. Good for you. Good to have you. Thanks for coming. Yeah, it's like I play golf 3 times. And that changed the way I watched the whole game. Okay, so when I ended up with stuff that was painting, whatever you call it, whether I'll do that. It's probably going to happen. I'm probably going to take this home. Never use your fingers.
I'm back.
Yeah, and I would go to the truck.
Can you tell him how big it is?
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Did he come and teach?
I've been,
I've taken one, like, private one.
I cannot believe some of the people, though, the work they're doing. Who is Roger?
Really?
What is Roger's amazing stuff.
That's great. Oh, good. Well, good. You inspired me to try. I do okay.
Do you ever do calligraphy with your painting?
Yeah, every once in a while. Like when I paint in church sometimes, I'll do, with Scott and Melissa.
Oh, that's right.
That's how we met them.
But yeah, we know the situation.
The Raleigh First Assembly.
Are you still there? I turned you off for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to.
So what's your favorite font? Hand.
Oh gosh, I started.
Here,
with,
by the way, this is.
You know how I started with calligraphy? I went to Wake Tech. I took a class there. What's his name? Tim Johnson. Yeah, he's kind of faded into the background. Metallic. And my problem is, I like taking all these workshops and learning them all.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't have time to get really, really good at one thing. I like Carolingian.
Yeah.
And I'd say those are. I like the storybook, modern calligraphy.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good.
Saw my little
Getting there.
Sundance coming
Yep.
down the wall.
Yep.
He's a calligraphy too.
Oh, I know. You should connect.
So yeah, I've practiced more copper plate script in the last. I don't know.
She's got it.
Is she good at that? Is she local?
No.
Or are you talking about a famous person? Yeah, yeah.
Just.
Well, it doesn't time to get depressed. I have 5 CDs out. He was part of that group. So he was doing the same thing.
The detail, the minute detail he can. Yes. And
Yeah. Yeah.
We go back to the food is so have you guys been? Have you guys do you
I appreciate you guys chatting with me and drew several straight lines to represent these. Anyway, but here's the important part once in a while. All right, here it is. Anytime that you have appears over and over and over again in your painting, 100 lines, it behooves you. Yes, it does. It behooves you. It adds to the painting. Anyway, I was in my negative painted. All I have here is a regular.
I was born, but for
Tell that Craig died. All right, I took a little break just to see if my stream would get. I don't know if you can even hear me, but I figured out what's going on. We, in this house, we're about half a mile from one of the big fireworks displays here on 4th of July evening. And this whole part of town is swamped with probably 100,000 people. So, because my stream was perfectly fine earlier this evening, and now it's gone bad. So that's what's going on. The cell towers are just completely overwhelmed by this flood of population that's just come in the last couple hours. So sorry about that. Not much I can do about that.
Nice to meet you. I'm going to check out your DVD.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait.
Thanks, Nell. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to meet you.
You know Canada, right? Because when you're training in I'm learning how they are. He's very talented. Yeah, we go to Raleigh Chinese School. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting you. Take care.
All right.
Dan, looks beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. Good to see you, Annie. Bye, Craig. Okay, there's one real significant element I need to add. Yeah, I want the people, and some of whom are leaving, I want to really get the basic impact of the painting. And the one thing that it's missing at this point is some lightest light sky areas up here, in here, and then a little bit in the water. I mean, right now, this is about a number 2, 1.5 value. On a scale of 1 to 10, you know, it's about a 1.5. So I don't have a lot of room to do lighter, but the human eye can detect subtle shades of variation, and I need to have some part of the sky which is really, right now, see, this is the lightest part of the painting, and that cannot be. You can't have a subject in the painting that's lighter than the sunlight, so to speak. So I need to fix that.
This is unbelievable.
Oh, thank you.
It looks better with all you've got.
I love it.
Thank you.
Oh my
Thank you.
gosh. I love all
Thank
the
you.
highlights and the flowers
Yeah.
and everything.
Thank you.
The blue looks much better than the gray.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping me with
This is
that.
incredible.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to be tracking you.
Oh, good.
Okay?
Thank you. Please do.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Cleaning up my palette. Wasting a lot of paint again. We talked about that earlier. Hey, John. Where have you guys been hiding out? I guess in the other room, eh?
dried paint now?
It's not dry. It's just I've run out of room to mix my next batch of colors. So I hate to waste it, but I'd waste more time trying to. Oh, good. Thank you.
What's going to happen to this paint?
It's Scott and Melissa's. Woohoo!
Nice.
I am going to take it home, by the way. I'm not going to finish it tonight. I mean, I'm close enough, but.
Wow. Love.
Good, thank you. I was just saying that, telling my people, whoever's listening, that I need one more layer of lighter in the sky, because right now, this is lighter than that, and that's impossible. You know, you can't have something in the picture.
Sky is always the lightest.
That's right.
That's right.
You can't have any object in the here, unless it's got a floodlight on it, you know what I mean? But in nature. So that's all right. So I'll just add up here and down here. But, you know, so my brain says, but that's already so light. How can you add anything lighter? And I'm just going, yeah,
So is
but
that
I
just
think the human eye can
like
see
a
light.
technique? You always have the sky lighter?
It's an understanding
It's an understanding.
of that the sky is always the lightest thing.
But what if the brightest thing is behind you in the painting?
Actually, okay, and the sky is not always the lightest thing, but in a scene like this, yeah. What if the sun is going down behind you and it's shining on a white building in front of you? Then yes, that white building is much brighter than the blue dark sky behind it. Yeah. So yeah, you are correct. In fact, many of my paintings are in fact that, because most of my paintings are very close, either sunset or close to sunset, and I do a lot of buildings.
Like the colored sky rather than just the
Yeah,
blue.
yeah, exactly. But in a scene like this, where the sun is, so to speak, in the picture, not literally, and of course I'm not, as you can tell, I've taken a lot of liberties with this.
Right.
In my painting, the sun is like right there. Here, I don't know, it's just up straight up somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, it is just about straight up. But when I add just this little bit of light in here, hopefully, I say, it'll become so much more dynamic.
Yeah.
I say by faith.
Right. In your head, it looks
Yeah.
so dynamic.
Yeah. Plus, it's giving me another excuse to negative paint these lines, these ropes. You're very welcome. Thank you. some of you might be saying, wouldn't it be easier to paint the sky, the clouds, like you're doing right now, first, and then paint the ropes on top of it? And of course, the answer is yes, it'd be much easier. But at the risk of sounding rude, I'm now going to sound rude. That is how a non-painter thinks. Or, put more precisely, that's how somebody in the first half of their art, and that's all right, being in the first half of your journey is perfectly, you should, first half of your journey, you learn how to paint stuff that looks like stuff. Second half of your journey, you learn how to paint stuff that looks like paint. And that's the difference, see, between the easy way to do it and the visually stimulating, dynamic, exciting, interesting way to do it. Does that make sense?
You can see it, you have to see it in a certain way. Yeah, almost. Oh, it's 9:13.
So I'm going to fade out this sunburst now that I'm doing this light stuff. It's titanium white with just a little bit of Naples yellow in it. Same as the white down here. Fade it out now, and then enter it. Hey Wayne, I like your good American shirt that you're wearing there, dude.
Very patriotic.
What are the colors of the South African flag?
The current one?
Yeah, the current one.
Black, yellow, green.
Oh, okay.
Red.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. One of those. Multicolored. Hey, Marlene. Thank you, my dear. So they don't have a patriotic song extolling the beauty of the colors of the South African flag, because the song would be too long. 3 cheers for the black, white, blue, red, green, blah, 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 blah.
It's already long enough because it's sung in about 5 different languages.
Is it really?
Yeah. So they honored all the languages and cultures in the national
Yeah.
anthem. So it's long.
Are things going any better over there?
Hey?
Are things going any better over there?
No, not really. No, it's tough times for everyone there now. Yeah.
Wow, Lord help him.
Yeah. It's not
Now, do you have family still over there, I
yeah,
imagine?
Yeah. I got family farmers as well, so that's real tough.
In Holland? In where?
In South Africa.
Yeah. How long had your ancestors been in South Africa?
I think I'm 4th generation.
Yeah. 100 and some years.
Yeah.
So when people say, "Are you African American?" It's just, yeah, quite. I rest my case.
They look at me strange, but
one of those. It's a racist term. The term African American is designed by racists to inculcate racism. Not KKK white racist. It's invented by black racists to accelerate racism, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, I'm being recorded. I'm being broadcast. One of the reasons this is clear to me is because, first of all, linguistically, the terminology cannot stand the rules of language. African American, 7 syllables. That means there's some artificial. That is not the way language works. African American versus black. The score is 7-1. 7-1. It's syllables.
yeah.
That means there's some strong socio-political force at work causing us
work that hard to get there.
Yeah. And I've given this little lecture to a couple of black churches, one in particular. It was not highly well received, but it took me a long time to figure out what was going on. I finally figured out and it's tragic. It is indeed tragic that, and we were on friendly terms, me and this black church.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of a Wednesday night Bible study, and it was 25 people and myself, and I finally figured out that to them, black was an insult. Unlike when I was a teenager here in America, there was a period where
there's a sensitivity there for some
right
historical.
Yeah, I mean for obvious reasons in some ways, The question is, we're all in the same boat now. How do we get out of this? We came in different ships, but we're all in the same boat now. So, but there was a season where Black is Beautiful was one of the black is, which was good.
But then in South Africa, that is still like a big campaign.
Black is what is?
Black is beautiful.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, at least that's true.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yay for that. Yes. At least that is very true. But the people I was talking to did not believe that. No, they said, no, black is not beautiful, which broke my heart, which showed how deep the wounding was, how utterly deep it was, that they hated their own race.
Yeah. No. So there's been a lot of those kind of sort of campaigns,
Yeah, I'm sure.
But you don't want to do them sort of to the detriment of other.
That's right. Exactly.
Groups.
No, exactly.
That's where it gets.
That's absolutely. Yeah, and you guys could write. If we could write a book, you guys could write 3 books on.
No, we've had some fun. Huh?
Oh man, yeah.
Smile, we're on camera.
Yeah.
I know. Then I come back.
All right, that's kind of what I'm after there. Too much energy up here, so I can just smudge all this out a little bit. That works better.
Oh, Pam, you are not tuned up. Don't even say it.
And now that that's done, I see that I can add more of that very pale, whatever color that is, here reflecting that color in the water. Right?
I've had my 15 seconds on YouTube. I did my YouTube. Okay, yes. Oh, so you're trying to get on YouTube? Okay. Alright. Just did the agenda rather than smile. Not necessarily, it was on my face. It's just my voice.
Picture where they pretend you guys are there and they just crop out the edges. Right.
Scratching with the heel of a brush here.
You can pretend there's a place in the frame.
A little bit more light. Yeah. I'm going to jump off to something else just for a minute here. That is the fancy boat in the background here. Back to the hull. Yeah. With a even lighter color blue.
Happy 4th of July. Welcome to your country.
Welcome to your country.
I'm glad we're here.
Can I take a picture with you?
Certainly.
Take a picture with Dan.
Right here, and then I want to post on the Facebook, and then I have you. I have 1,500 friends.
You already have 53,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I want to see your
The painting?
The painting too.
Yes, of course.
Where can we
Oh,
see
okay.
the
I
painting?
grew up in the 21st century.
I'm sorry, I grew up in the 20th century.
Thank you. This
You're
is
very
really
welcome.
Nice painting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to just like. It's beautiful.
Thank
You wouldn't
you.
think it could get any better, and then you come back 30 minutes later and you're like, oh my god.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will tag you, okay?
Good. Please do. Thank you.
I will add you on the Facebook.
Okay.
Is your
Thank.
name on Facebook?
Thank you. Yeah, Dan Nelson Art.
Let me
With
find
the
you.
dude search for Dan Nelson.
Dan Nelson? Okay, I will search you.
And then
Yeah, you
I'll
find me.
subscribe to you on YouTube so
Oh,
my
thank
dad
you.
can watch you.
Thank you.
He can watch you every night.
Thank you.
50,000 followers.
53,000
50.
followers. And then plus us, it's 53,000.
That's me. Yes, me.
At you. Wow.
I'm the second most famous Dan Nelson on Facebook or on the internet. Anthrax, rock group, Anthrax.
Well, you put
Lead
51
singer Dan
instruments.
Nelson.
You put 51. You can. No time. No
My
time.
friend, Lee Winter.
Oh, you know
Oh,
Ming?
yeah.
You know
Yeah.
He knows Ming, Chloe and Ming.
You know Chloe and Ming too? And you know Jim Anthony.
Yeah, yeah.
And you
No,
know
wait.
Cliff
Who's
We have mutual friend. We have mutual
who's Ming?
friend. Ming Liu.
Maybe he's
And
just a
Chloe.
fan.
You don't know who's Ming?
Well, is it my? Where's
He
the
has
picture
too
of
many
us?
fans, Mom.
this
It's hard
guy.
to keep up.
Common friend.
Who's that?
You know Pastor?
I do. I'm trying to remember where I know him from.
That's
I don't
Pastor
know.
Cohen's daughter.
I have a lot of friends.
Oh, oh.
That's her husband. That's
wait a
Pastor
minute.
Cohen's son-in-law.
I know them. I know them. We have mutual friends. Are you on LinkedIn?
Have you seen their baby?
LinkedIn is like Facebook.
Wait, Mom,
We
can you
have
show her a
8
picture of
mutual
Liam?
friends.
Show
I
her a
like
picture
what
of
you're doing
Liam.
with that. I like what you're doing
Show her a
there.
picture of
Don't
Liam.
mess with the artist. I like this.
Have you seen the season?
See, this is Chloe,
Oh,
Pastor Cohen's daughter.
Chloe!
And
Yeah, what's his name?
this is Ming.
Ming was the videographer or something.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, he's
We have
they're doing a,
Kim Mutual
and then this is their baby.
How many?
Gorgeous
Liam.
couple.
They have- they're
Kim
in
Coley.
Singapore right
Kim
now,
Coley.
and
Are you
their
serious?
baby
Yeah.
is
So we
their
are
family's
probably have
there.
a very
They
similarity.
have the most adorable child in the
Bless
whole
you. Haven't
world.
seen it.
He like, he's so cute. He's so cute. Yeah. Hold on, let me see if there's a better.
totally remember
Here
them.
he is. Oh, he's so. Their baby has such a good person. He's so cute. He's so cute.
Just right back there eating some chocolate cake.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Coming up, very, very nice, Jen.
Getting there. I'm not going to finish by 10 o'clock, but 99 point something %. Thank you.
Very interesting up there. When we looking close, and we move a bit. Oh,
Good.
it's different.
Yeah. Good.
That's cool. Oh, gosh, that's cool.
I'm gonna go back and look.
Come alive.
It's like different. Like when you see it backwards, it's like you can see every single one. It's like four. Oh yeah.
I've actually never seen it.
Daddy, stand here.
I saw a mixed thing.
It looks like a picture, but not a picture. Yeah. Not anymore. The way he uses the colors and everything.
She keep me.
So where did you come from? Like a photograph, but not a photograph.
Right. I wasn't watching anything. You can always touch it up. I did come up. Whoa. You do have to see it. When we first came in here, it was not like this. It just had a plane.
Oh, I hear them. I hear them. I hear them.
Oh.
Oh,
Fireworks have started. You're welcome. Delightful to meet you all. Bless you. Thank you. I know what to do next. Isn't that good to know?
I think you found a new favorite.
Pardon?
I think you found a new favorite. The doctor has a household painter. The doctor.
Really? Which one?
One too many paintings.
Yeah.
He has one too many paintings in his house. You can't see what color the walls are.
I'm going to violate my practice process procedure and go in now and do some dark details. Just good to meet you. Bless you. Good to meet you. Thank you, Susan. Good to meet you.
Whose phone is that? Oh, here's a phone. It's Melissa's, I can tell. It's your phone, bud. Somebody's.
All right, we're gonna go see the fireworks? You're gonna go see?
All right, I'm back. And I have just some dark, transparent, very neutral tone.
Where I grew up was, and so 4th of July was always such a big. Yes.
That is to say, theoretically, I was supposed to be done with the darks some time ago, but that's just the theory, of course. Perfectly okay to. Things are quite confusing. And frankly, they're confusing partly because the photograph here. You know what? I've got a problem. This transparent that I mixed up is got contaminated somehow. Not as transparent as it ought to be. The rule is, and I adhere. Every rule can be broken, of course, because sooner or later there's a count. You get dark with transparent colors and light with opaque. Our lifetime, in our generation. Of course, I'm doing dark, what is then essentially underpainting, right? Lined up. You always follow through with some kind of light. And like these, but definitely in North Carolina, there are these trees that are used for pylons to hold up the docks are treated green cast to them. And so I will certainly come back with it, make them look a lot more believable.
So I got laid off in January 2009. No. I was actually working as a legislative liaison with the Department of Administration.
Reflection of these posts is a critical. The reflection does so much to convey the sense of water. The explaining what's going on up here. That means I can hardly tell from the photograph what's actually going on. Hardly. If I look really carefully, I can. And everybody, at least where these pylons are, where these marinas are, the pylons, verticals. They're at least to the untrained eye, there's no completely overrun with these vertical trees stuck in the waters for that. The reason is because there are about 100,000 people within one, because of fireworks taking place right at the bottom of the hill from where I am. Let's go ahead and do that green right now and just get the. Pardon me, have a drink of water. Two parties on one day. Now, the first one was a family, my wife's family get together, and it was wonderful. I had 2 parties in one day. That's a lot. Okay, I'm trying to get the right color. It's actually a surprisingly blue green, a bluish green.
Decided to sell his shares of stock in IBM for an up-and-coming and promising company by the name of Studebaker. And of course, he told the class, he said, oh, exactly. Oh, yeah, and he said, had my grandfather not done that, you wouldn't see my fat butt up here teaching. But, oh yeah, everybody had that. So the problem is, there's only some of the older people in the class could appreciate it because they didn't see it stupid. But yes. Oh, it is. It was hilarious. Yeah, I like it. It's fun, and I like working at Jimmy B's because you get to meet really interesting folks. And you meet really interesting people. I mean, and not just like VIP type people. We get some of those people in there. Aaron Judge was in there one night. Francis Ford Coppola was in there last summer, believe it or not. Of course, all the little cat people, they always come in there.
Okay, now for the light side of all those pylons, pale
We
green.
have a regular guest that comes in from usually once or twice a week. And who's that? His name is Gary Williamson, really nice guy. He eats by himself, but he's a musician, and he actually had a career in state government, Department of Public Instruction, got his PhD in Stanford.
That's one of these smart guys.
Oh yeah. So where's your accounting firm? Is it?
So we're a national firm.
Let me step back for a minute and make sure I'm not. I think it's all right. I'm doing an awful lot of finicky detail in here. Let me just try to do it a little bit messier here.
How about your, what you got? The white, tablecloth?
Those things you just, they can actually just
Now, who? Standing here for most of 4 hours. No, 5 hours. What am I saying? 5.5, actually. That would explain the sore feet. Now, the dock itself, typical pale beige tan, wooden. I'm going to go with the greenish tan. I don't know if you guys can even see this, probably not. Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Now that everybody's gone, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring you guys up a lot closer. Bear with me while I shake, rattle, and roll you for a minute. I might need to get an extension cord. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to leave you unplugged for a while. And when your battery dies, so be it. That'll be the end of the broadcast. Goodness knows. It's been a marathon, as it is. Once again, a highly repetitive motif or a pattern or a shape that's repeated many times in the painting. You use different techniques. So in this case, the top of the dock, right, is repeated over and over and over. Bop, 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 bop. That means what? It means, of course, that you render it different ways. It also means once you put down a color, an opaque color, you come back with a slightly lighter, right? Because your eye can detect that that's the same color all the way across there. And even though the untrained eye won't know why that's irritating, it's my job as the artist to know why it's irritating, because it's repetitious, boring. There. Believe it or not, I have one great big mystery still operating in this painting, and it is the color of this boat right here, the hull of that boat. Right now it's a dirty purple. Purple hulled boats are, I mean, it comes in every color imaginable, I know. White, off-white, light colored is most common. But I don't think I want a big, well, I'm going to do something risky. I'm going to actually throw some color, some paint on here real quickly. And if it doesn't work, I'll have to wipe it all off or cover it up one or the other. But I'm wondering what would it look like if this was a light colored boat. I don't usually do this. It's very unusual for me to, do a practice color. It would be easy if the painting was all dry, of course, but it's not. Because then you could do this and then wipe it off easily. Let me step back and look at that. Maybe. You hear close and loud. Let me step. The only bad thing about it is its uniformity. You exaggerate that.
Thank you so much. It's certainly been my pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw some junk out and I don't know, send it to Jeff.
You don't mind if I take it home?
The thing is, you see the red accents?
Want to
So here's Lionsgate. And it says,
turn left?
yeah, it says, oh gosh, because it's too blocked up. It's gonna take you, and you're gonna go down to Penny Road.
I can probably just wander in.
Oh, it's Kildare Farm Road.
Oh, all right, great.
Highway 164. Oh, you just be
All
geared
right,
up.
great.
Give it
Yes,
to you.
enjoyed it.
Great, my friend, I'm telling you, we loved it.
Need me to assist again?
Yeah. Umbrella?
An umbrella, yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I'm just gonna, yeah, how long do you need?
That's it. Yeah, we know David now.
I get halfway across the,
Is it breaking
the
down?
road here and it collapses on me.
Oh, my God.
Well, thank you so much.
This is peculiar. Just odd that I'm having to make such a fundamental decision. So we'll see. Dog hung.
This is awesome.
Well, thank you. Has Melissa gone to bed?
No, she's
Are they watching
fireworks.
first?
I thought it was pretty good. Everybody said it.
Okay, I'm going to do one more thing, you guys, before your battery dies and you leave me. Cake.
She was right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You had a great audience, too.
Yeah. So I'm going to do broken color now. My last. Yeah, I'll be, of course, taking it home and playing with it a little. Yeah.
Coming down through there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's the water.
Yeah.
How was fireworks?
It was great.
I heard it. We heard it. Hello, Vic. I can't decide what color to make the hull of that boat. It was this like that lingering, this late in the process.
I actually hadn't decided what to make.
The photograph is actually purple. No, it's gray. Really?
It looks like the front of the boat is kind of a tealish
It does, but
gray,
I think that's.
and then it
Do you
goes
think?
to purple. Painted that way, it's just the
Right.
the way.
Came too late, so nobody.
Because
our food
the
was
actual
after dinner, I guess.
the actual
came after
boat is
dinner.
like a gray.
Do I painted my face? Oh. Hi, Victoria. It's nice talking to you all night.
Yes. Here, but where's this photo taken from?
Beaufort. They took it in Beaufort.
Melissa took it and just a photo.
Yeah, yeah.
So we said, okay, we like water, we like boats, we like our little seaside dock. Let's do one from the local community.
Sorry.
It's just awesome. We love it.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff. I should have printed out the original photograph. I made a whole lot of changes. And then a whole bunch back here.
Keeps everybody clubbed in the house.
Yeah.
How often do you guys go sailing?
No,
A boat?
we can handle up to 50 feet, but we'll see.
And is it, how many, is it just you like as a captain, or do you have somebody?
You're the guy. I've always said, getting her, it's a language that you only use on sailboat.
Yeah.
I know. Scott, I needed the roof of this boat. I said, I know it probably has a name, but I'm using stupid names, like probably not called a roof.
So you've got your boat, you got the cab, you got below deck, you got the main mast.
But then I ragged on,
That's why you
what
say
sick
gotta-
humor was that? Who made that one up?
Do you guys know this?
Yeah.
Do you see Dan's vest? He
painted
painted
it last
that tonight.
It's a special for this party.
Because when you paint with a vest on, you get paint on it.
That's right.
So he decided to spray paint his vest because
Wow, look what just happened right there.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan.
What?
That was good.
Yeah, that's
what did you do? Did you have an accident?
Yeah, it was. It happened realistic,
No,
but that doesn't matter. Yeah, it's nice when that happens.
It's nice when that happens. I like it.
Happy accident.
I like it. Wow.
Yeah. Because the complimentary of being is.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I love the orange. The orange is just cool.
yeah.
It's
Wow.
almost like there's some sun.
Guys, and skies can do almost anything.
Yeah, because
really.
God is a genius.
Yeah, well, it's just it's so much more complex than we usually think of it. You know.
Skies are. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, Dan.
And that was an accident that sort of happened because of my messing around. Thank you. Messing around with my underpainting. You know, this crazy.
So Dan painted the whole canvas with something else before he started this. So this is part of the underpainting coming through. It didn't exist before. He
Right.
painted it
Have you?
as
Have you? Are you?
abstract.
Do you know what we're talking about? Have I shown you that?
He created an abstract painting that totally doesn't have anything to do with this as the canvas, and then he painted it.
So you
And then-
see these lines, you see this like streaks.
These-
Right.
And then a streak here. He did have a.
In fact, you guys would get a kick out of this. So God doesn't talk to me all that often about my artwork. Wait, I'm still broadcasting, so I'm going to take a break. With my viewers. So, okay, guys, I'm back.
See you Sunday. God bless
Just
you
about
guys.
done here.
You know,
Just
yeah,
about
you're
done
right.
here.
Don't turn right, turn left. at the bottom of the hill. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in the traffic. Drive safe. Watch your step on the way down. Those steps are a little slippery.
Okay, so what just happened here with this yellow-orange stuff is a complete surprise to me. That's not at all expected. But it's working, so I'm going to go with it.
Yay. Very thankful for that.
Okay, and I'm the only one who read the invitation carefully because it said 6 to 10, and it's only 10 o'clock now. So that's why, but you can go to bed with it before I leave. You don't have to, you don't have to stay up.
Great. I actually took my, I take this medication.
Bye, y'all. Do you?
It knocks me out, but I didn't